This segment is called Keeping the Right People. And of all the things that can happen in a merger or acquisition, keeping the right people on the team is probably one of the most important things. It just stands to reason if we don't have the right people to do the job that is required with the right attitude, then we're going to suffer all the way along the line. But it's not as easy as it sounds to keep the right people. Who are the right people? First of all, we need to identify, early as we can, we need to identify who the people are that are going to be needed in the process going through. Here is a schematic that can show how complex this analysis can be. We have two companies here, Company A on the left and Company B on the right. We have two types of employees, engineers on the top and salespeople on the bottom. So before the merger, we have 12 engineers in Company A, and 4 of them are critical to keep. In Company B, we have 8 engineers, and 3 of them are critical to keep. So in the merged organization, let's say out of the total of 20, we need to come up with 15 engineers. Now we already know which 7 of the 15 we need to keep. Under the salespeople, we have 6 people in Company A, and we have 10 people in Company B. So there's a total of 16 people in the merged organization. Let's say out of the 16 we only need 10. Therefore, we know which 5 of the 10 we need to keep. Obviously, they'll be our best people, but what we need to do is figure out how do we make sure that they stay on board. Many companies will use a kind of bonus system where they'll give some kind of a performance bonus or maybe stock options to certain individuals they want to stay on the team. This can work, especially in the case of the stock options, because people don't get the options unless the performance is there. So it's a really good incentive to keep people not only on board, but keep them really working as hard as possible. The difficulty comes when we have these kind of options or bonuses is an issue of fairness. Some people on the team, first of all, word's going to get out that such and such has gotten an incentive to stay. Well, if you are not getting an incentive to stay, that sends a very strong signal that you're in trouble, or maybe potentially in trouble. There's a better approach, I think, for keeping the right people on board. First of all, we need to identify who they are. Once we understand who the right people are, then what I think is a good idea is to get those key people actively involved in creating the culture that we want to create. If we get the right people fully engaged in creating the kind of culture we want for the future, they're going to be so busy that they're not going to be thinking about trying to bolt from the organization or worried about their future. That's the kind of environment that we want to create. These are the people who are going to be the backbone of our future organization. So therefore, get them involved in the teams. If they're supervisory type people, make sure they have a key role to play right from the start, that they understand that they're pulling their own weight and more during the transition process. This will prevent them from getting discouraged. You know, when you think about it, after the announcement is made for a merger or acquisition, it's a very difficult time for everyone. Even the strong people are a bit concerned about their future. It stands to reason you would be too. The key thing is that the strongest people are also the ones who have an excellent track record or outstanding skills that are easily translated to other organizations. So if you're not careful, the strongest people will end up being able to apply for jobs elsewhere and get them, and all of a sudden you've lost some of the key talent. Meanwhile, on the other side of the equation, the people who are not quite as strong or have had some problems in the past, they may not have the skill sets or they may not have the qualifications to really go out and do well in the job search arena, so they're the ones that end up staying on board. So if you're not careful in a merger or acquisition, what you end up with is A lot of people that you did not want to have stay, and the people that you really wanted to have the most end up leaving. The way to prevent that is to pay a special attention to the people that you need to have on the team. Let them know that they're needed on the team and give them a role to play that's very strong as early as possible. Bonuses or stock options can help, but I would not rely on those exclusively. Make sure the best people are aware that they're needed in the future organization.